Welcome to Go Tell It in the Mountains. Our three synods, Allegheny, Northwestern Pennsylvania, and Upper Susquehanna, have an amazing opportunity to focus on 21st century ministry challenges. We all face strained budgets, a shortage of clergy, and fewer hands for more work. Perhaps the biggest challenge is finding time to try new things. It's the only way to find ways of doing ministry that better fit today's Christians. Many of our congregations have experienced significant losses in membership and worship attendance. They haven't stopped trying, but their efforts aren't reaping the needed results. Once vibrant ministries are now limited to worship and pastoral care. Education and outreach programs have been curtailed or canceled. That's why our three synods joined in applying for Lilly Endowment's Compelling Preaching Initiative. The answer to our problems may begin with our primary mission, to share the good news. While struggling, it's hard to pinpoint what we are doing wrong. We are faithful to our traditions. We work hard. Nevertheless, we are part of statistical decline evident across all mainline denominations. With God's help, the funding from this grant will help us find new ways of doing ministry that will help us do more than tread water. You might be surprised to know that our churches are among the majority of all churches. 90% of all churches are considered small with fewer than 200 members. 80% of these have fewer than 100 members. 75% of all Christians belong to small churches. These statistics suggest that most pastors can expect to serve small congregations. They also reveal the ministries of small churches are important, even vital to all Christianity. Yet leadership strategies often focus on larger churches with multi-member leadership teams. We hear and read of their successes, knowing that we can't replicate their ministries. We should not feel discouraged. All churches start small. Most stay small. Actually, the problems we face today are rooted in our success. The mid-20th century worked well for mainline denominations like ours. The success we enjoyed 50 years ago had evolved over decades, even centuries. The pace of change was much slower then. Today, we are beginning to realize we won't solve 21st century problems with 20th century answers. As we focus on our ministries of the Word, we will follow a biblical formula. We will still reach, teach, and preach, but we'll do it in ways that resonate with modern listeners. If the challenge seems overwhelming, remember, Jesus started with 12. Here's the reality. We are where we are because something that needed doing wasn't done. While technology was changing every aspect of modern life, the church avoided adapting, protecting tradition, just as we have for centuries. We began to lose influence. What would the church look like today if we had embraced technology 35 years ago? We'll never know. In some ways, we are now standing before a well-lit threshold. The early years of technology were daunting, but now platforms are stable and work interchangeably. Software is well developed and less expensive, and everything is easier to use. Perhaps our timing is perfect. Most churches already have the basics: a computer, access to the internet, and basic computer skills. You might be asking, isn't preaching the role of clergy? The reality is, there is a shortage of clergy that will not resolve anytime soon. Currently, 50% of our congregations rely solely on lay leadership. Since attendance at worship is far below the average attendance of our churches 50 years ago, providing a weekly message costs more today and reaches fewer people if we confine our message to within our sanctuary walls. We need to build a ministry infrastructure that uses technology to reach beyond our walls, regardless of who stands in the pulpit on Sunday morning. First, let's look at how we got to where we are today. 50 years ago, every church shared certain ministry givens. Together, they created a ladder for success. Each rung led to the next. All we had to do is make sure we didn't miss a step. Let's look at the 20th century ministry ladder. The first rung. We served homogeneous communities. Even in diverse towns, congregations clustered with people like them. Among Pennsylvania Lutherans, there might be a Swedish church, a German church, and an English church. Most churches, large or small, had a pastor. Volunteers did much of the work. Denominations had publishing houses providing resources to support our work. They always included one-size-fits-all teaching guides. Ministry strategies and customs from congregation to congregation were similar. When families relocated, they looked for a congregation like the one they left, and they probably had a few choices. We could count on our trustworthy ladder for success. But here we are, entering the middle of the 21st century. The rungs of our ladder to success are broken or missing. No matter how hard we try to hang on to the well-worn rungs, we can't reach our goals. Our communities are no longer homogeneous. There are not enough pastors, or in many situations, enough money to pay them. Yesterday's volunteers found jobs, and parenting today's families has additional outside pressures. Publishers haven't been meeting our needs, and we haven't updated our strategies. Go Tell It in the Mountains will replace the rungs with 21st century tools and strategies. Here's how we will rebuild our ministry ladder. Making sure there is always a weekly sermon is a major budget line in every church. It is important to make sure the sermon is as effective as possible. We will explore ways to make the spoken word more compelling and engaging, weaving Sunday's message throughout the week. We will work to create resources that can shorten the time spent on sermons without sacrificing quality or voice. We'll also encourage the creation of a supportive online community. We will support lay leaders who are sustaining ministry without a clergy presence. We'll support their volunteer work with resources such as sermon outlines and suggestions for customizing their messages, so helping their congregations doesn't become overwhelming. Again, we will encourage the creation of online community, so laity do not feel isolated in their work. We need to reach more people. Waiting for them to appear at our Sunday worship service is not effective. Social media is a powerful tool that can help congregations reach new people without creating a time burden. Successful use requires content. We will create a resource library featuring all kinds of content. Churches will be able to use the library as they develop their own social media. The resources will be there when you need them. We'll provide ministry strategies and training to help congregations navigate the seas of social media. We also need to reach new demographics. We'll develop strategies to reach, teach, and preach in ways that share the message of God's love beyond our walls. When finding the people to do the work is a challenge, we'll explore ways churches can find the help they need to keep climbing the ladder. The church of the past admired stability and tight-knit community. Technology has restructured our lives for constant change. We'll work to prepare churches for the escalating pace of change. Each individual with a cell phone has more power than a 1960s national network TV newsroom. We'll help people tap their modern powers. Regardless of the size of the church, modern ministry relies on more skills than one pastor is likely to have. Today's laity often have skills that complement those of pastors. We'll work to empower both clergy and laity. We'll help congregations find the help they need when they need it. For the next 5 years, Go Tell It in the Mountains will help shape the church our children and grandchildren will know. Don't think your church is too small. Larger churches can go on for a while without making any changes. Innovative change is most likely to come from churches like ours. You can help us forge a new path for modern ministry by making apostles of our members, friends, and family. The first apostles can be our mentors. They faced social and political unrest and hostility from religious leaders of many faiths. Education, outreach, leadership training, secularism, diversity, and social justice were high on their list of challenges, just as they are today. Even so, the Samaritan woman left the well to convert the hearts of an unwelcoming neighboring land. We can't forget the women who fearlessly visited Christ's tomb and spread the news of his resurrection. They joined the first disciples and a host of elected and unelected successors. As we make decisions, we can ask a guiding question. What would Peter and Paul and other early apostles do if they were telling the good news in Pennsylvania's Appalachian Mountains? We are modern apostles. What problems do you see? What ideas do you have for solutions? What skills and expertise would you like to share in ministry? We want to hear from you. In the past, most ministry strategies were created by church leaders and implemented by members. These volunteers were rarely at the table when decisions affecting their congregations were made. Let's start fresh. Here are 4 questions for your congregation to ponder. We'll give you a few seconds to find and hit the pause button. When you're finished, hit the start arrow again. Welcome back. Did you have a good discussion? Would you be willing to share your ideas, concerns, and questions? We've prepared a survey to help the steering committee hear from you. We'll be planning other opportunities for sharing as well. Your participation in this survey will help us plan the best ways to involve all our congregations. The link on the video is live. The full email link will also be on the last frame of this video. Did you know, without lay leadership, we might never have had Sunday schools or vacation Bible schools? In the next video, we're going to reveal 4 unsung reformations that shaped the church as we knew it in the 20th century. And they were sparked or led by laity. Their stories are inspiring. Perhaps we can spark another pivotal change in church history. That's all for now. As you think about how you and your congregations can be part of Go Tell It in the Mountains, we have 5 encouraging words. Help is on the way. Thank you.